9 Benefits of Being an Old Soul. You may have heard of the perks of being a wallflower, but what about the benefits of being an old soul? Old souls are so much more than the stereotypical academic eccentric in tweed. I can attest to not owning a single piece of said tweed in my wardrobe, and while of course, as with any personality trait, there are negatives to having a soul older than your years, there's plenty of positives too. In this article, we'll be taking a closer look at the benefits of being an old soul by peeling back the layers of assumption and stereotyping. So, without further ado, let's get into the benefits of being an old soul. To know the benefits, let's be clear on what an old soul is. First things first, for those who aren't in the know or are a touch forgetful, let's recap what an old soul is. An old soul is someone who has a soul, or inward personality, which is far older than their physical age or outward experience. Of course, as with all personality traits, the signs of an old soul can manifest in different ways from person to person. If you want to know if you might be an old soul, check out this article: 7 Signs You're an Old Soul. In general, however, old souls tend to be introverts whose interests shun trends and pop culture. This may be because said interest is niche, but may also be because they are those of a bygone era, because they view the world in a different and deeper way. Old souls also communicate in a way that sets them apart from the rest of their friendship group. They may act older or wiser than their years and have an air of authority, which means that they are usually the first that others go to for advice or counsel. Old souls are less common in the mainstream or world of celebrity, but some high-profile examples include Jeff Goldblum, Tom Hanks, Doris Day, Greta Thunberg, and Stephen Fry. Anyway, here we go. There are far more than just 9 benefits of being an old soul, which will vary from person to person depending on individual circumstances. However, the entries on this list are some of the most common and universal perks to having a soul that is older than your years. While all of us are likely to have 1 or 2 old soul traits, true old souls will likely resonate with many of the points on this list. Benefit number 1, you possess a natural aura of mature authority. This can be both a blessing and a curse, but let's focus on the many positives of this inherent old soul trait. The most notable feature of being an old soul is acting or giving off the vibe that you're older than your years. This means that in a group setting you often have a greater level of authority than your peers, some of whom may actually be older than you, while for some having people turn to you for the final decision or for advice can be stressful. As old souls have a strong sense of intuition, this means you can often steer your friend group down a good path. This means that with you at the helm, you and your friends can avoid some sticky situations. It also has some great hidden benefits too, such as the boost in self-esteem that being such a valued member of your friend group gives. Having a natural maturity even when young is also beneficial when it comes to making yourself heard. Many young people become frustrated and even disenfranchised because they feel like the older generations do not listen to them and brush them to one side because of their age. Because of the perceived maturity and authority, younger old souls tend to get heard much more easily than their peers. Benefit number 2, you're naturally polite. Being emotionally mature and polite often go hand in hand, and luckily, old souls know that good manners can get you a long way in life. Sometimes having good manners requires you to place yourself in a secondary or passive position, which can be a challenge for those with narcissistic tendencies. Being polite also often requires emotional sensitivity and even a degree of empathy that most people don't develop until early to mid-adulthood. By understanding the role of politeness and manners within society, old souls are able to ensure that they're always viewed in a positive light. Take Tom Hanks for an example, and are therefore usually much beloved within their work and social circles. Being polite also benefits old souls when it comes to opportunities for life and career progression. Because they are typically viewed so positively and are easy to get along with, old souls may be singled out for opportunities or promotions more swiftly than their peers. Benefit number 3, you don't live in a material world. Probably the best thing about being an old soul is that the material world has little to no interest to you. This means you aren't swept up by the latest trends or fads, ensuring that your bank balance remains happy and your home uncluttered. Though not universal, in general, the old soul's interests tend to be long-term and even form part of their career. One thing's for sure, however, for the old soul, quality definitely trumps quantity. In regards to material possessions, old souls are instead much more likely to handpick a small array of items that have meaning or true value. This is why one-of-a-kind pieces or antiques often hold a far greater appeal to old souls than some mass-produced item. The same can be said when it comes to the old soul's preferred surroundings. Old souls much prefer the suburbs to the city or even live in a small village, as this allows them to remove themselves from the fast lane that is materialistic obsession. Benefit number 4, money has little value. It's a good thing that old souls aren't materialistic, because money also has a minimal draw to true old souls, meaning it's unlikely your bank balance will be able to handle excess transactions. This is because old souls are sometimes completely turned off by money. This means that old souls are unlikely to be seen in high-flying corporate jobs or jobs focused around money such as banking and sales. Instead, old souls are drawn to careers which enrich their soul and not their bank balance, like charitable works and careers with a cause such as community work and activism. Here are some careers best suited for old souls if you want to check that out. While at first, it may seem like living a low-cost lifestyle is a drawback to being an old soul, for true old souls, this is actually quite liberating. Not focusing on scrimping and saving for the latest gadget or must-have item frees up time for more important things such as making memories with loved ones or learning something new. Shrugging off the shackles of consumerism also gives old souls the clarity of mind to seek their true passion or calling. Put simply, while there are pros and cons, shunning monetary gain is a trade-off that many old souls are all too happy to take. Benefit number 5, you have a killer intuition. One of the biggest perks to being an old soul is that you can use your elevated knowledge and world awareness to forge killer intuition. As mentioned earlier, this strong sense of what's a good or bad idea can make you a boon to friend groups and can even help you to progress within your chosen career. Old souls don't just have a killer gut instinct, however. They also have the emotional maturity and awareness to listen to their inner voice and act upon it. This means that where for others the devil and angel on their shoulders have a constant back and forth regarding life decisions, the old soul is able to easily swat the devil away and make sound choices that benefit themselves and those around them. This gift benefits the old soul throughout their lives, from the major like steering clear of bad relationships and making swift decisions in the workplace, to minor perks such as picking out the perfect gift for a loved one. Benefit number 6, you have an appreciation for the little things in life. Old souls really like to keep things simple. In a world where people are constantly rushing about, working insane hours, spending money faster than they can accrue it, and in general burning themselves out, the old soul is able to step out of the fast lane and appreciate the little things. It's important to clarify, however, that this doesn't mean that old souls live bland or Spartan lives. It just means that firstly they appreciate quality over quantity. Where others may choose to have the same hoodie in multiple colors, the old souls will likely pick one or maybe two. When making this decision, the old soul will weigh up practicalities such as the color compared to other items they already own, as well as the wearability of the item. This discerning eye means that old souls often have a greater level of happiness regarding their possessions and a true appreciation for what they have. The same can be said for food. While old souls may indulge from time to time in a complex dish with many flavors, they also greatly enjoy foods in their purest form or with minimal additions. Just how old souls can appreciate the beauty in simplicity in their wardrobes, their palate too can take great joy from appreciating the delicate differences in each ingredient. Lastly, old souls tend to take this benefit to their surroundings too. You'll most often find old souls in laid-back environments like the seaside or countrysides. As natural introverts, they tend to prefer places with less hustle and bustle. However, if you are to find an old soul in a city, they'll likely live somewhere atypical, be this in a neighborhood that others might see little appeal in, or in a quirky home. This is because old souls tend to have a very different worldview and can see an element of beauty in even the most unlikely places. Benefit number 7. You're great at listening. Because old souls prize meaningful interactions and connections over money and material possessions, they make great listeners. Combine this with the old soul's natural wisdom and sharp intuition and they become the perfect person to turn to for advice and support. If you've ever sought advice from an old soul, you'll know that one of the best things in confiding in them is that they never try to insert themselves or their own motivations into your conversation. Instead, they will offer you authentic and considered advice which is intended to genuinely help you through your difficulties instead of benefiting them. Take note, however, that when an old soul imparts their advice and wisdom to you, it is given with trust and good faith that you will at least consider their words if not act upon them. A surefire way to irk an old soul is to allow their carefully curated wisdom to go unheeded. from an old soul perspective. However, there's one factor that can make this powerful listening ability a burden: becoming the group counselor. Old souls have to be careful to manage the amount that their friend group leans on them for support. As for introverts, it can be easy to get burnt out by the expectations of others, so this needs to be carefully managed. Benefit number 8, you're a trailblazer. Now, if you're an old soul reading this, you may disagree, but hear me out for a moment. While you may not feel like a trailblazer, your old soul gifts of seeing the world differently give you the ability to become a pioneer in your field or even simply within your friend group if applied correctly. We all know that when faced with a problem, removing yourself from the situation is the best course of action, as it allows you to see the bigger picture. Because old souls tend to remove themselves from the mainstream hustle, they are able to apply this ethos to their lives and spot areas for change or improvement. The old soul's natural gift of understanding the world in a deeper and different way can make them stand out from the crowd and achieve some truly incredible things. As money or material gain does not appeal to the old soul, they will often use their deeper insight for altruistic pursuits. To give an example, climate change activist Greta Thunberg has made waves around the world all before the age of 18. Of course, few old souls will achieve this level of notoriety or even want to, but this doesn't mean that they cannot blaze trails in their own way. Whether it's starting your own small business or using your insight to come up with a new innovation, all old souls have the power within them to change to the world in one way or another. Benefit number 9, you're the bridge between generations. For myself personally, as an old soul, this is one of the benefits I love the most and am looking to incorporate further into my life. Being born with a soul older than your years often means that you connect far better with the older generations than your own, while when navigating the difficulties of teenage years this can be a negative. Once you reach maturity, you begin to realize what a unique gift this is. The older generation has such fantastic wisdom and insight accrued throughout their lives, and old souls are able to benefit from this. In fact, interacting with the elderly perfectly aligns with the old soul's mission to find deeper meaning and truth. This is because the older generations have a lifetime of knowledge and experience to share, something which the old soul is able to not just recognize but genuinely appreciate too. Aside from this, old souls can also give the elderly companionship and a connection to others which society sadly neglects to do. This may even lead to a fulfilling career for the old soul in community care or social care roles which allow their natural gifts to thrive. One thing's for sure, in a world where we're more separated than ever, old souls have the powerful ability to bring entire generations together. Old souls, the world needs you. I could reel off the benefits of being an old soul all day long, but one thing is abundantly clear: the world needs more old souls. Old souls are the deep thinkers, the artists, the activists, and the humanitarians that help to make the world a better place. So if you're an old soul and you're sick and tired of being teased for being the grandma or grandpa of your group, or you're picked on for your quirky hobbies, smile instead. After all, your unique old soul gifts give you a real benefit in life, and the sooner you realize this, the sooner you can start changing the world for the better.